This is how to use the butterfly effect to kill people just because the worker accident stepped on the hammer, causing it to slide off the roof, or drop the latch on the iron frame. The iron frame began to rotate rapidly, asking for a light blow to the head of the person. A man nearby or a beggar stole a sewer lid to sell for scrap. While pulling the lid, he accidentally opened the wooden bar under the wheel and then threw cigarette butts indiscriminately. The tanker truck slowly slid down and hit a business's car. The gas spilled all over the road and accidentally flowed onto the cigarette bit, creating a powerful explosion that killed the other person. But no one could have imagined the chain of events. The scary butterfly effect was caused by a 6-year-old boy. Daniel was born at 6 a.m. on June 6, which also happened to be the birthday of the devil, so from birth, Daniel was considered a child. Unfortunately, when he grew up, strange things continued to happen. Even though he was now 6 years old, Daniel had never been sick. He hadn't even had a slight cold. It seemed like there was an invisible dark power surrounding Daniel that made his agree. Hundreds of generations tried to stay away from him. Even the animals in the zoo were terrified when they saw Daniel, as if in front of them was a very scary devil. Today is Daniel's birthday. His father Robert organized it for him. Son had an extremely grand party while everyone was happily singing. A black dog suddenly appeared on the side of the road, his eyes exuding a strong murderous intent. Daniel Manny kept staring at him like she had just had her soul stolen from her in the blink of an eye. She was on the roof and put a noose around her neck. After screaming loudly, it was all because of Daniel, she immediately jumped down, ending her life directly, causing visitors to arrive. The birthday party was scared and ran away. The robot was afraid that his son would be shocked and quickly ran back to hug him, not knowing that Daniel was looking at the other dog and reaching out to say hello to it because Robbers was a high-ranking official, high in the government. So the recent horrifying event was reported all over newspapers. There are always dozens of reporters standing by to be interviewed. He was sad and know what to do. When a prisoner came to Robert, he said that your son Daniel is demon, so kill him immediately to eliminate the future disaster. Are you saying that a 6-year-old Chi is a murderer? That right, and he will see many more. Other people went to the altar to look at naked chickens. Even he was one of those robots who didn't believe in ghosts or gods. He thought that this old man was mentally paranoid, so he turned around and left. The priest suddenly felt paranoid, feeling worried. He immediately told Robert what he knew about Daniel. I was present at the scene the day the boy born. After hearing this, Robert quickly returned with a very serious expression. How much did he know about his son? Everything. It turned out that on the night Robert's wife was about go into labor, she suddenly had difficulty giving birth. The priest in charge of baptizing the baby said that his son had died after birth and that his wife, he loved him with all his heart, because his uterus was damaged during childbirth, so he could no longer have children. A series of bad news came to Robbers, making him feel heartbroken. Just when he was in despair, the priest took him into his room. The priest said that the other boy was born on the same day as Robbers' deceased son. Unfortunately, the boy's mother passed away during childbirth, so the boy became an orphan. So the priest wanted Robbers to be able to take care of the child, young man. He also said that this was God arrangements. He was afraid that his wife would be extremely shocked when she learned the truth, so Robbers agreed. He carried the boy into the room and told him that this was our son. From then on, he who considered Daniel as his own son and chose his love. Although Daniel's background was not fortune, Robert never accepted that he was evil. The priest also added that Daniel's mother was a jackal. The more he talked, the more offensive it became that Robert really couldn't listen anymore. So he called the security guard to directly chase the crazy priest away before being dragged out. He still tried to shout loudly, "Son, the devil will cause the whole world to gradually die." Although Robert did not believe this, he felt insecure because his previous nanny had gone to the underworld to sell salt, so Robbers and his had to quickly advertise for another woman. A woman with a strange look in her eyes came to apply for Baylock, saying that she loved children very much and did not care about those false rumors. Seeing that the other person seemed very enthusiastic and kind, Robert and his wife agreed to accept. Baylock became a nanny. Then Catherine brought the woman to introduce her to her son, but when she turned to walk away, Baylock's expression suddenly changed. She also said incomprehensible words to Daniel, "Don't be after him here." To protect him that night, Robert came to the room to visit his son. He couldn't believe that this cute boy was a devil. At that time, the black dog also suddenly appeared, staring at him with a dark smile. Ma'am came forward and said a few words to make the dog calm down. She explained that Daniel was kind and saw that this dog was abandoned, so he took it in and raised them. They both loved each other very much, so I didn't stop Robert after listening, thinking too much. He turned around and left, but the next day the priest came to him again and told Robert to go to Megiddo and find a man named Henry. He would tell him the whole truth. Robert was still waiting. Before he could react, priest continued to say that his wife was pregnant, but the devil would attack his wife and kill her and her child. In the end, even Robert Cowell not escaped death. Listening to this, he tried his best, angry that this priest is intentionally cursing his family. My wife's uterus is already damaged, so how can she get pregnant? What can you say that a little more logical? Your son is a devil. To save his wife and himself, we must find Henry immediately." The priest's words made Robert completely angry. He sternly warned him never to come to see him again, otherwise he would not be polite. As soon as Robert left, the sky suddenly thundered. The priest knew that he had revealed the heavenly secret, so he would definitely be punished by the devil, so he hurriedly ran back to the church where he tell him, protected him from danger. But as soon as the priest arrived at the church, the door was suddenly locked from the inside, then a bolt of lightning struck down, breaking the lighting rod at the top, and the steel bar continued to fall freely, piercing the priest's body. Section made him leave on the spot. The next morning Robert was informed by his wife that she was pregnant. After hearing this, he immediately felt a chill down his spine. Could it be that what the priest said were all the truth? When he suddenly saw the news that he had passed away, this made Robert even more worried, and it was staring to come true. Catherine was watering flowers on the balcony when Daniel hit her on a scooter, causing her to fall down. Even though B.A. was able to grab the railing in time, when he called his son for help, he stood there expressionless. Seeing the result, exhausted Catherine fell from the 3rd floor. Her unborn child did not survive. She was seriously injured and had to be hospitalized. At the emergency hospital, while Robert was out, the nanny took Daniel to visit Catherine, as her main purpose was to inject poison to kill her after the death of his wife and child. That when Robert believed what the priest said. It's true that while he was about to go to Megiddo to find a man named Henry, a reporter appeared during the past terrible days. He filmed and captured many strange movies. For example, Bow Death. The model that had been predicted in the nanny neck frame seemed to be surrounded by something, and as expected, she immediately found liberation, and the image of the priest was skewered by something. Chest, and he also died for the same reason. The strange things is that the 666 mark was found on their bodies. Clearly this was not an ordinary accident, but what scared the reporter the most was Mr. found his own reflection in the mirror with a ray of light shining across him. The reporter didn't want his life to end like that, so he decided to go find Robert to find out the truth. So the two of them went together. Together, they sailed to Megiddo City and found a man named Henry. They did not expect that this man was the priest who entrusted Daniel to his care, due to a fire accident. In the church, he suffered severe burns that damaged his face, completely deformed. His throat was even seriously injured, and he could no longer communicate. The priest wrote an address on paper and gave it to Robert. It was a cemetery located in the suburbs with few visitor. Two people followed the information found, arriving at Daniel Mother grave. The moment the coffin was opened, they were all bewildered. Inside was the remain of a jackal. It seemed like the story of Daniel being born from a dog was true. Looking at the grave next to Robert, I had a bad premonition, so I opened the lid to see that inside was corpse of a child. This was my baby. Looking at the large hole and skull, I guessed that my son had not died after birth, but that he was a little boy, was killed by the devil. This heartbreaking truth made Robert depressed. He couldn't hold back his tears. According to the information that Henry wrote, Robert and the reporter went to the spiritual master house here to find a way to kill the demon magician. Immediately took out a set to specialize as weapons, saying that only this knife could directly kill the devil and that it must be executed in the church to completely eliminate the evil spirit. But Robert seemed reluctant. When you act, won't you commit murder? The magician said that the devil has a boss 666 mark on the back of his head, so he can confirm that before acting to avoid killing the wrong innocent person. But right now Robert fatherly ability suddenly arose. Daniel was raised by himself. How could he kill a child? After speaking, Robert angrily threw the child away. This made the reporter feel angry. If he can't do that, then let me do that, then let me do it. The result was that when the reporter stood up, his head was chopped off by the iron frame, just like the prediction in the previous photo. This scene made Robert feel scared. Finally, he realized that Daniel had to die. Robert took him home immediately feeling a dangerous aura of iron. The ferocious dog suddenly rushed down from upstairs to attack him. Fortunately, Robert was familiar with the terrain in the house, so he easily escaped and locked it in the basement. Then he took the dog, following a pair of scissors to Daniel's room while the boy was sleeping. He secret cut off the hair on the back of his head. Sure enough, the B666 mark appeared, proving that the boy was a genuine devil. At that moment, the nanny appeared from behind. After secretly attacking Robert, he tried to fight back and escape from her, then quickly carried Daniel to the car and went to church. The nanny held a sledgehammer and repeatedly broke the front windshield, forcing him to retreat. She was still determined to pursue her until the end, and had no other choice but to force him to speed up and send her off to the final area. But because Robert was driving too fast and dangerous, the traffic police mobilized force to arrest him. Because time was running out, Robert quickly took Daniel to the church just as he pinned the devil on the cross and was about to finish it off when a gunshot rang out. in the end, Robert still could not escape his tragic fate, although no one knows why he intended to kill his son. Because of Robert's contribution, the government still decided to organize a grand funeral for him, and Daniel found a new adoptive father, with more force. It turned around and smiled. The darkness symbolizes that a great massage is about to happen. This is the end of the movie. Hello and see you again, everyone.